All right, Shalom. This is Brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. And with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. Let's jump right into the scripture. This is Matthew 26 and 41. It says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." So watch and pray, man. These are the times that which we are to watch and pray. You know, every time is a time to watch and pray. But as we continue on and prophecies get fulfilled, everything's going to be taken up to a higher level. You know, the demons that attack you, they're going to be more persistent in their attacks and their temptations, because this is pretty much the finish line, man. You know, it's happening at a rapid pace, and when I mean I'm talking about prophecies. So there's going to be a ramping up. There's going to be an increase in carnal things getting at you, and carnal people tempting you. So you, as a man of the Lord, gotta amp up your spiritual shield to match that, man. And that's called being circumspect. That's called being prepared. That's called watching and praying. You know, you just can't just go along to get along, man. You know, you gotta make a stand up for yourself every day. Every day you gotta tell yourself about temptations, about tests and trials. You can't fall to these things, man. And the thing about it is, you got to expect them to come. You know, the flesh is weary. The flesh desires comfort. The flesh desires need. And that can be a stumbling block for certain men. The comforting, the fulfilling, the feeding of the flesh. You know, and because you gotta like the Apostle Nellis, you say, you gotta have a thick skin in this truth, man. And part of that thick skin is increasing your stamina, your spiritual stamina, your spiritual endurance, your spiritual tolerance, man. You know, that's why that word soldier, I think it goes into being hardened or hardened. Go ahead and get that. See what it says here. The New Testament. Timothy's. So we talk about increasing your spiritual stamina, increasing your spiritual tolerance, you know, having that thick skin. This is 2 Timothy 2:2. We always bring this out. You know, I always bring this out because this is one of my favorite scriptures. 2 Timothy 2:1. So like, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong." So you're commanded to be strong, man. And you got to think about it like this. If you're commanded to be strong, that means that there's an opposing force that's gonna make it necessary for you to have strength. If you're commanded to be strong, that means that there's gonna be something that you're gonna need strength for. Somebody's gonna try your tolerance. It says, "Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Mashiach Yahushai. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness," let's get that word hardness, "hardship as a good soldier of Mashiach Yahushai." So that's why the scripture is telling you to be strong, because there's a coming hardship, man. There's a coming hardship. Basically, what these scriptures are telling you, prepare for hardship. Thou therefore endure hardship, hardness, as a good soldier of Mashiach Yahushai. Let's get to the Strongs. It says, a champion of the cause of Yahushai. Soldier. Come on, man. A champion of the cause. What's a champion? Let's get the word champion. I think if you go to in the Old Testament, when David tells Solomon to be a man, to show himself a man, one of the definitions that is champion. Let's go and get that. So this is 1 Kings. Let's start at verse 1. It says, 1 Kings 2 and 1. So now the days of David united that he should die, and he charged or commanded Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Means that he's going to pass away to the spirit world. Be thou strong, therefore. See? He's told to be strong because opposing force was going to come after him. And show thyself a man. Let's get that definition for the word man. It says, see right there, champion. Show thyself a champion. A great man. Let's get the definition for the word champion in the Webster's 1828. It says, champion, a man who undertakes a combat in the place or cause of another. So, we're supposed to be defenders of the gospel. So in that sense, that's your combat. That's your cause. Or our cause. A man who fights in his own cause in a duel, a heroic, brave warrior, hence one who is bold in contest as a champion for the truth. So what did the Most High repeatedly tell Joshua? Be strong of good courage, right? So to be strong is to be a champion. To be strong, to be a man, is to be a champion. And to be in this truth is to expect hardships and obstacles and things coming your way that are not pleasant. So let's go back to the scriptures. It's a lot. Let's go back to verse 4. And these always come up, but it's good always to refresh yourself on these scriptures, man. It's just 2 Timothy 2 and 4. No man that wars entangle himself with the affairs of this life. And that's part of the temptation. The affairs of this life can be your temptation. They could be your downfall, man. You caring too much about worldly things. You caring too much about some useless woman, whether she likes you or receives you or not. That's an affair of this life, man. You caring too much about your own fucking comfort could be an affair of this life. You gotta put yourself aside, man. You gotta put your wants, desires, needs on the back burner to be in this truth. And brothers can testify that. We put our life on the back burner, man. We put our own personal wants or our own personal comforts on the back burner for the cause of this truth. And brothers can testify of that. That's what we do. There's sacrifices being made. Even the apostles and elders talk about it, man. They tell you that there's days that they don't want to go out to camp because that's the flesh being weary. But they go anyways. You see, there's days that you don't feel good. You might be ill or something, under the weather, or you might be extremely exhausted from work or something. But you still go out to camp. And once you get there, it's good. It's cool. So your life has to be in the back burner. That's why Yahweh Shai said, you gotta hate your own life. So he says, love not your own life. He that loves his life shall lose it. So to love your life is to want the best things for the flesh. And these are just things that you have to understand straight up, man. You just gotta understand that this is the way it is. You're not gonna be popular in the world in this truth, man. You're not going to get all the women. You're not going to have the flies of shit. Now, there's going to be brothers that, they have so-called riches. But those are given to the Most High for whatever purpose the Most High gave them to. It could be for the brotherhood. It could be for whatever cause the Most High gave them those so-called extra things. But in the end, they don't really matter, man. So let's go back to the scripture. Let's get Proverbs 4 and 14, because we're talking about watching and praying. And this walk, you gotta watch first and foremost yourself, man. You gotta watch yourself and the things you do. And you gotta pray that your actions are correct and right. This is Proverbs 4 and 14. It says, I'll start at verse 13. Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. See? That's part of watching and praying. You know, that's part of being strong. That means that you understand these scriptures and you understand the expectations that are put upon you by the scriptures and your obligations to the Most High, and you keep them. It says, enter not to path of the wicked, and that's the fulfilling the lust of the flesh, because that's what the wicked are all about. 2/3 of our people, and what is taught in the world by Esau, Edom. You're taught to be a hedonist. You're taught to live for pleasure. You know, you're taught to enjoy foods and comforts and entertainment and folly. You know, this whole system is set up for to put you in a drowsy, dreamy, sleepy mind state. It's not set up for you to be awake. It's not set up for you to be alert about things that are going on around you. It's set up for you to kill your spirit and fulfill your flesh. So enter not to the path of the wicked, go not in the way of evil men, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. That's temptation. What do we read in Matthew 26:41? Let's go back to it. This is Matthew 26:41. What did Yahweh Shai say? Salak says, watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we're supposed to ask the Most High to keep us strong in those times of weakness. And why not, man? Yahweh Shai did. Yahweh Shai prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, if I'm saying it correctly. He prayed, man, in his hour of weakness. He had weakness, man. He had weakness in the face of his obligations. And he prayed to the Most High, man. What did he say? Not my will, but your will be done, roughly paraphrasing. You know, he asked if this cup could be taken away from, but only if it's the Lord's will. And he already knew the answer to that. He already knew that prophecy had to be fulfilled, but nevertheless, he prayed. So in those times of weakness and times that we're falling short, you got to pray, man. You got to pray. You got to be strong. You got to be a champion. You got to endure hardships. And they're just going to amplify the more you stay in this truth. It's going to get worse before it gets better. That's an expectation that you always should have every day. You know, that's why Solomon, that's why King David told his son, he says, I go the way of all the earth. Let's go ahead and get that again. I go the way of all the earth, be thou strong. So he told him to be strong. So to be strong is to expect somebody that's going to test your strength and show thyself a man and keep the charge of the Lord thy power, the commandments, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, his testimonies, his read the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper, that thou do whatsoever thou turnest thyself. So our only defense against temptations, against weaknesses, against shortcomings, against our flesh, is this word. And you always got to remember that, man. That's what we're set up. We're set up to be tested. The elect men are set up to be tested. The elect men are set up to be tried, because the elect men are the examples of all Israel. So we're supposed to go through these things. We're supposed to go through these hardships. We're supposed to pass these tests to strengthen our brothers, man. To show the strength of the Lord. The Lord is a man of war, it says. So if he's a man of war, then you got to be a man of war, and that means you got to war every day. The spiritual battle, the battle against the flesh, and it's easy to get caught up and hindered from the bullshit that goes on around you. And that's just something that you got to keep in mind on a daily basis, sometimes a moment-to-moment basis, man. You know, because it's easy to let thoughts creep in of things that make you feel mad or sad or not worthy or weak or whatever the fuck. It's easy for those thoughts to creep in and fuck with you, man. If you allow them to keep on fucking with you, then you got to understand those are demons. You allow them to keep fucking with you, then it's going to take over your whole spirit. Why do you think that there was a law in Israel where a coward wasn't allowed to be among the soldiers, because his weak spirit was going to lower the morale of those that didn't have one. So if you sense any type of weakness in you, any type of cowardice, you got to get rid of it, man, because that's not for the battle. Why did Yahushua tell us to watch and pray? Why did King David tell Solomon, who's Yahushua reincarnation, to be strong? Because that's a necessary trait of a man of the Lord. That's a requirement. The scriptures plainly tell you that that's a requirement, that you be strong, that you be courageous, that you watch and you pray, that you be, expecting of hardship. They tell you that as a commandment. They tell you that that's what it's going to be. So adjust your lifestyle to it, or fail. There's no middle path, man. But that being said, just a real quick lesson, things that was on my mind. Most High will and hope was edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Kakadash, Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's keep pushing. Shalom.